to Mic Check Waifu Waifu.
Check. Mic check waifu waifu. Tell, is that you?
Oh yeah, we here.
This is episode 198 of Mic Check Waifu Waifu. As always, it's brought to you by Lube Complex and Don'tTalkShop.com. It's also brought to you by our Patreon producers. Shout out to our Patreon producers. You can support us at any tier to get early access to the video version of the podcast, get access to our bonus podcast, The After Story. More on that later. And other exclusive content. We got some exclusive content coming up now that we're back to our regularly scheduled program. But first, we have to give a special shout out to the producers that produce this and many other episodes of the podcast. Shout out to Dre, the GOAT G, Johnny from Shogo High, Ked the Pro from Chaotic Culture and Shogo High, explicitly Monique Williams, Nachi, and Saphir. Thank y'all so much for producing this and many other episodes of the podcast. We truly appreciate y'all so very much for supporting us at the producer tier, getting those shout outs every week and getting early access to those videos and the podcast. Okay, so on the After Story podcast, all of our regularly scheduled content is coming back. As I said at the start, we just had to take that 2-week break, so it's going to take us to getting used to getting the flow back into our recording sessions and whatnot. But I am going to start posting the After Story in podcast form. What I'm gonna do is Patreon allows you to create a separate RSS feed. So if you're subscribed to the Patreon, you'll have access to this RSS feed, which then allows you to put that RSS feed address into like any podcasting app that you use and listen to the After Story podcast as a podcast instead of watching the video version through the app. Because apparently, shout out for Nachi for bringing this to my attention, but when you use the app, you can still watch the video as a podcast. But the problem is that sometimes when you open another app or you do something else on your phone, the podcasting app stops the podcast. So we're going to make sure we get that fixed. So the listening pleasures of our Patreon supporters are as easy as possible. So thank you, Nachi, for bringing that to our attention. We appreciate that. And remember, you do get access to the video versions, though, still. You're just gonna have the access to the audio versions and as well as the read along. That's coming soon. All right, Dale, how you feeling, brother?
Solid, bro. Solid. It's nice to really get settled back into the house because when we came back, we did like the recording and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But now I feel settled, like almost like back to normal. So I'm feeling good. Working out again. Well, I guess I never stopped. Yeah. But working out at home is way different than working out anywhere else. So that's nice too. How you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling good, man. A little tired this week because sleep schedule's been all screwed up. I don't know what it is that's going on with that, but we getting it together. Let's discuss some of this anime stuff before we get into kind of like the broader topic of things. What was your episode of the week this week?
My episode of the week this week is Oshinoko. Yeah, it's that's the episode of the week.
I guess we'll talk about that a little bit later too, huh?
Yeah, we can talk about that later.
Yeah. My episode of the week this week is probably going to go to, again, Hell's Paradise, and I want to talk about that later too. Another absolute.
Is that going in our spoiler talk?
Yes, Hell's Paradise. Probably for this particular week, Oshinoko, or whatever it's called. And let's do anything else.
We can do let's do that other one you want to talk about, that Dead Mount Dead play.
Okay, let's do that. Let us know what y'all want us to talk about as the third anime, because I got a feeling that Hell's Paradise and probably that's going to be the idol one. It's probably going to be ones we talk about. Maybe we'll see. But first, the broader discussion I want to bring up is, this might sound crazy,
Yeah.
but this might be one of my favorite seasons we've had in a very long time. Now, the reason why I say that isn't it because all the shows are good or great or anything like that. It's the variety of shows that we have that feels really nice, which is much different than what we had last season. We had a mostly like, what would you say, like,
It was a lot slower last season.
Yeah.
Like, the tempo was slower. Not that the anime was slower necessarily, because it was a ton of anime to watch. Just not everything. Nothing was really up tempo except for stuff that was from the previous season. You know.
You know what? I didn't even think about the tempo of it, because that's also a factor I didn't even think about. But I'm thinking more so in the realm of just different spectrums of things, right? And I guess I kind of want to start here with where let's just talk about, for instance, Hell's Paradise. Okay, let's go first with that. Hell's Paradise is doing something in shonen that I haven't had since Jujutsu Kaisen. And
what's that?
And that's just bringing a unique twist to everything, like completely kind of taking the basic formula. While the formula is still there, obviously, it's skeletal though. Like, it's such a skeletal formula compared to I want to be the Wizard King, or I want to be the Hokage, or I want to be whatever. This is giving me it's giving me Bleach motivations, or just more in-depth motivations and character depth that I haven't had in a shonen in such a long time. And even Jujutsu Kaisen isn't as in-depth as this is going right now. While Jujutsu Kaisen is great, and it's one of my favorite, not favorites of all time, but one of my, ones I look at and be like, yeah, that's fucking great.
Yeah, one of your more recent favorites.
Yeah. This is up there, man. It's incredible. Yeah. And for one, I gotta say this too. This is huge. Everybody knows I watch the intro to stuff once and I skip them from there on out. There's two shows. There's 3 intros that I never skip ever. That's Tonikawa season 1. That's Hell's Paradise, and now it's Tonikawa's season 2. Those are the 3 intros I never skip.
Also, and I'll say this kind of without the spoilers and whatnot, but Hell's Paradise main characters are also extremely enjoyable.
Well, so good. Good.
And they do a great, or I would say almost a wondrous job of making you interested more in the world. Mm-hmm. So I entirely agree though, because we had the Bakumatsu Bad Boys, we had Revengers last season, and these are anime that kind of have that same kind of like, not specifically like the shonen skeleton outlay or layout, but it's like the this gathering of the shogunate cabinet and whatnot, the skeleton. But this already 100% seems like it's taking everything that we've already seen in those two and just making it significantly better. Yeah. So yeah, I agree. That's a definitely one for the season that's like fresh, kind of like it's just not even kind of. It's fresh. It's fresh in general.
And that's what I felt this season has been so far. Like I got a little bit of everything this season, and it's been feeling good. There is one that I picked up that's new called Insomniacs After School. Now, oh my God, bro. Insomniacs After School is so fucking good. Episode 1. You watched it too?
Yeah.
Not expecting that. Okay. Yeah, it's man, it's so it's so relatable. Yet again, it's just a whole different type of, like, I guess you can say, relationship kind of situation. So good.
Hear me out on Insomniacs After School. This has opened my eyes to the sleeper discussion, right? Mm-hmm. Slice of life is, I'm not gonna say it's easy, to pick a sleeper on there.
It's
But if
definitely not.
if the name is good, if the name is good, bro,
Interesting. Okay.
it's gonna be good. Because I feel that way about the Galaxy Next Door.
Yes.
Like I feel like the name said it. It didn't have a choice but to really be good. And then Insomniacs After School, this first episode for it, it was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything about it was beautiful. The sound design, the animation was beautiful. Like everything, the pacing was like on point. I loved getting to meet these characters and seeing how that was going to play out. It was a great first episode, bro. It was a shocker because I can't say I was truly shocked, but like how it started off even in the beginning with how like the artwork was and then it shifted.
Mm-hmm.
That was great. It was a great first episode.
In a absolutely phenomenal way of depicting a condition that sucks. You know what I'm saying? It's rough.
Like, literally.
It's rough. Not being able to sleep at night, and then only during the day was when you're able to lay down and just fall asleep. This is going to be Insomniacs After School is going to be special. So if you did not pick that up, watch it. I know you didn't pick it up. So go ahead, hop on it. Insomniacs After School. Actually, let me just make sure it's on High Dive, but I'm sure if you don't have access to High Dive, you can find it. Beautiful show though so far. And then like I'm even enjoying the comedy, man.
Which ones?
Well, you know I'm not gonna say Dr. Stone, even though this was another pretty good episode. The comedy still got on my nerves, but it's been so far they're 2 for 2 as far as like just good episodes. There hasn't been an episode where I'm just pissed off. So Dr. Stone, I'm very happy about that. But when I talk about comedy, I'm talking about like where's sorry, I gotta get the name of it. Oh, The Cafe Terrace and Its Goddesses.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's subtle. It's giving me quintessential quintuplets vibes and a very mature main cast of character. Well, the girls aren't necessarily mature, but the main male character is a very mature character who's coming into his own and trying to figure out a way to navigate a situation, you know, after his grandmother passed and running his cafe. And it's been hilarious. The ecchi is not as it's not as disgustingly ecchi as I like. But it's ecchi nonetheless. But
Disgusting though.
But it's very pleasant. Like it's tasteful, not pleasant. Tasteful is the word I'm looking for. Tasteful ecchi. Nothing too grotesque, if you will. But the comedy, actually, I chuckled a few times. Not really laugh out loud, but I chuckled a few times. I actually enjoy what I'm seeing so far. So again, the spectrum in which this season is bringing us some unique stuff, man. Like Galaxy Next Door, I wasn't expecting to be what it is, but I'm loving it so far. You know.
On the comedy side of things, I've been watching the Aristocrats Otherworldly Adventure, serving guys.
Yeah, it's the most recent episode, but that's just been hilarious.
That anime is ridiculous, and it's not ridiculous in a bad way at all, actually, because it's wild that bro is so vastly overpowered, right? Like he's so overpowered that he put a spell on himself to make him look weaker, and he still looks stupid powerful. It's like it's beautiful. And then this most recent episode was also it was just like he goes too far, gets himself in a situation that he doesn't want to be in, but he don't have a choice.
Don't know the limitations yet. Yeah, how do you know? How do you know? And I don't know why I'm so shocked. This is why, like, again, while the previous seasons have been fantastic as well, it's something about this one that's it's bringing my morale in the anime space up more. Maybe it's because I'm not overwhelmed. That's for sure. I'm not overwhelmed with too much to watch, and I'm not bored by watching. Feel like I'm watching the same things because there's been quite a bit of I would consider, let's say, chilling in my 30s while it was good, and campfire cooking or something like that with my absurd skills. While those two are isekais that are good shows, and then farming life in another world, 3 isekai shows that are really good they're very samey. They're very pleasant, very chill shows that you can watch. And I just feel like I was kind of watching the same shit, even though I enjoy them. Exactly. Even though I enjoyed it. And Chilling in My 30s isn't an isekai, but it just has that same kind of I don't know. What's the word I'm looking for that? Same kind of vibe, I guess, would be the best term to use. But speaking of isekai, we got the three, the one that Tail just mentioned, and we got I got a cheat skill in another world and became unrivaled in the real world too. That most recent episode was again such a banger. Fire. So unique. It even spent most of its time inside the real world, or inside of his original world, I should say. Which again was a great display of just character growth and writing already in episode 2.
They toned it down a lot too, even, right? Because and that showed the brilliance of the episode to me. The fact that it didn't need to be so heavily centered on the action to get us to this point, and it continued that story and growth and whatnot.
Yes.
Yeah, bro. Great. Another great episode from Cheat Skill too. Yeah.
Yeah. And then another isekai is Death Mount Death Play, which is what we're going to spoil later today.
Oh my goodness.
We talked about this when I was training with was that Friday?
Yeah.
I told him, like, yeah, you gonna watch this. And I gave him a little synopsis of it, but I'm like, yeah, there's a twist in that is kind of crazy. And yeah, so if you're not watching that too, Death Mount Death Play. What's your general thoughts?
Super duper dumb fire, bro.
Super duper dumb fire.
Yeah, that episode, that episode was fire, and I loved the ending of it more than anything. Like the ending of it really would set it off. I mean, I was like, oh, this is what we rocking with.
Yeah,
I can't wait to spoil that. But yeah,
were you as shocked as I was? Because I was definitely shocked.
I was, because I saw it the opposite way.
Yes,
you know,
me and you both.
Like it obviously went the opposite way. And when it didn't, I was like, "Oh yeah, this is what we here for. I'm here for this. This is what I needed. This is what I needed."
Dude, I was fucking blown back. I'm like, wait, what? Ain't no way. And again, we can talk about that in the spoiler talk, but the moralities is so fucking dope. I love that. I love that. And then let's go into something a little bit more serious, but still very fun to watch. Ancient Magus Bride season 2.
Yeah, so Ancient Magus Bride, you already know. What I love about this show is that, like, none of this felt like fast paced, but there's just so much about the world to learn.
Yes.
There's so much to uncover. It's all so mysterious, but you don't feel disengaged. Yes, exactly that. You don't feel lost or disengaged, like you're not following along. Like what we said about the first episode, you didn't really need a recap, you know? So this is one of those stories where you're literally in a state of wonder because you don't know everything or everything you want to know, but you just don't feel lost or out of it. You feel like you're actually being brought to where you need to know. So yeah, and if you haven't already seen Ancient Magus Bride, catch up and watch it because it's 100% worth it.
100%. And I'm not a shoujo fan in the slightest, but this is absolute GOAT material here. It truly is. Let's see. Let's go to I guess the star of the show, huh?
The star? What's the star?
I don't know. Maybe it's the star. Oh, also another good comedy, The Dangers in My Heart. I'm enjoying it. It's very, very different from Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible or Teasing Master Tagiya-san or what was that? Teasing Nagatoro-chan or something like that. Yeah. Very different. Same concept though. Same skeletal structure, but very, very different build. So The Dangers in My Heart is very funny. I like that.
And hear me out on this one. I said that Polo didn't need to necessarily watch Mashle. I still kind of agree with that. But this episode gave me season 1 One Punch Man vibes.
Okay, so not
And-
bad, not great.
Yeah, it wasn't like anything that was amazing, but because of what it is, it actually seems like it might end up being better than what I initially gave it credit for.
Okay.
It felt like something that it was overhyped to begin with, but now I'm just like, oh no, this is probably actually just super funny, and that's why people love it so much.
Yeah, I'm a miss that. Oh, I almost forgot about this one because it's so forgettable. My Home Hero. I'm so happy that we have it, right? Like, I'm still happy that we have it because it's a mystery drama thriller in which we don't get many of. Like, I want more of this, so I can't say I don't want it, but every time I watch it, I forget I watched it, and that's just me. That's just me.
Is it because it's so close to real life, but still so far away from real life?
No, hell no.
Because I
close.
feel like some of these scenarios that they were in, and especially in this most latest episode, I was just like, I guess I can't imagine how they didn't end up dead.
Yeah, it's you know, it's very bombastic in that way, right? Like, where it's just they're gonna get out of it by the skin of their teeth for the thriller aspect of it. That's what thrillers are, right? You're supposed to feel suspense and all that stuff. Again, I just can't wait till I get to the point where the shit turns into Burn Notice for me. I talked about this last week. I want that shit for him to pop off and it just become his I guess awareness that he has from watching action shows or whatever the fuck his
series.
Yeah, the detective series or whatever the fuck his backstory is. I want to see him actually get into that bag. That's when I think I'll become way more interested. But right now, it's just kind of like I'm watching it and I'm engaged. Don't get me wrong, I'm engaged and I'm like, oh, cool, that's okay, sick. And then as soon as it's off, I don't remember in T-1 minute. I just forget everything that happened because I guess it's the cliffhangers. I just roll my eyes and forget about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, whatever. Let's go on to the next one.
But did this episode have a big cliffhanger? I feel like it did.
Yeah,
not as bad as the first two.
Well, yeah, I guess it isn't as bad, but he's about to get stabbed and he says, we're together. Whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just fine. It's a fine show. I want more of this, though. I do want more of it. So I'm trying to be as positive as I can. Not that anybody at this fucking studio will hear me anyway, but I'm just trying to be as positive as I can to know that we want more of this.
When's the last time we got a decent psychological thriller though?
What was the one with
Invaded?
No. The one with the guy, then the girl tried to help the guy, but the guy was like a killer, and they end up becoming kind of close in certain situations. Oh, I forget what it's called. Kiss. Oh.
Love Kiss? Because that's not it.
No. Dog, it came out a couple of seasons ago, 3 seasons ago, I want to say. It was really good, though.
I'm thinking about Link Click now, and I'm just thinking that was a really good, like, more of a psychological joint.
Yeah, it was a guy and a girl. They were both the main characters. The guy was a really good, like, hitman or something. The girl was a bounty hunter trying to catch the hitman. And he ended up liking her the way she would try to catch him, or the way she was so gung-ho about catching him, but there was a whole underlying backstory as to what was going on. Like, it was super intense. It was really, really good. But the hitman dude was fucking fire. He was so dope. They're screaming at their fucking radios right now and phones, telling us the name of the show. But that show, it was real good. No,
because that's the one where they were hunting monsters and demons.
Yeah, exactly. This girl she had a blonde hair. She was like adopted because her parents got smoked.
I'm sorry, y'all. I should know this.
It was a really good show that we really liked, and we talked about it a lot, and just can't think of the fucking name of it, man. Can't think of the name of it, but it was a really good show. Let's
move on.
Yeah. But it's just like that. But we need more of that, to be honest. I'm looking forward to that. Let's see here. Okay, and then now, Oshinoko.
Did you watch the first episode?
Yes. That's why I was ill prepared today, because I was watching everything this morning, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm tired. I laid down, and I got up, and I'm like, oh shit, I still got a couple more shows to watch. Oh no, that show said we should check out from the fucking video he posted on Twitter. And I turned it on. It was an hour and 22 minutes. I'm like, fuck. And I fell asleep again after it was over. That's why I was a little late. But yeah, man, what you think?
I mean, it's my episode of the week.
Oh yeah.
So I think it's fair. I think it's fair to understand what I think. But I don't know, bro. It's just, there was so much that I just overall enjoyed in that first episode that it was a hard one not to miss for me after watching that first episode.
Yeah.
It gave me a lot of what I just overall didn't expect going in. But also, I remember reading the synopsis for it when we were doing like the spring like lookup, but I'm just like, oh, this is that one that I said that it seems like it might be interesting. I didn't really think it was going to be like that.
And I said I was going to completely miss. But and when you posted that video, I'm like, oh shit, well now I gotta watch it, because shout out to Dad Needs to Talk, because he's like, I'm glad y'all giving it a try. I'm like, damn it, now I actually got to give it a try.
I didn't think you was gonna watch it if I posted that. I was gonna talk about it myself.
Yeah, I decided to watch it, and it's, I guess you could say, let me say this: the end was predictable. Everything about what I was watching was very, very predictable at the end, but I like where it's going.
Mm-hmm.
I like where it's going more than the journey it led me to, because I felt like I was watching this for so long that I'm like, okay, I know what's going to happen, so let's kind of get there. I don't think it needed the 90 minutes.
Yeah,
the 90 minutes was a little much, but everything, like, it was a lot of shit that we could have just skipped. But I knew what they were doing. They were building relationship.
Building up for the emphasis. Yeah.
So it was. It was flags everywhere. We're gonna talk about that in the spoiler talk. But it was so many flags that it was egregious. It was actually egregious. But I did like it. I'm glad it wasn't. If for those of you who are like me, who don't like musical anime or idol anime, this first episode at least did not feel like that in the slightest. Whenever she would do her idol thing, it was 2 seconds and it was gone. Like, it was off the screen. So that I'm entirely grateful for, because I can't deal with it. But I got my little nitpick negatives out the way. My positives: love the characters, love who I was, love the manager and his wife, love the the beginning characters and the characters we got. I love the characters in general in this show. They seemed very down to earth, I guess. Relatable, not relatable, because I can't really relate to what they were.
That lifestyle is
you kind of just feel for them, you know. And by feel for them, I don't mean like feel sorry for them, but sorry. Let me retract what I'm saying. Let me get my thoughts together. What I'm trying to say is, because I'm trying to avoid spoilers by any means necessary, because I think anybody should watch this going in knowing nothing. Okay, so I'm trying to avoid that as much as possible. So forgive me for talking in circles. I will say this: I feel like I always say characters are always like one of the number one things in a show that has to make me enjoy watching it. If the characters suck, I will hate your show. I will hate your show. Like, no, I don't care how good the writing is. Well, if the characters are bad, that means the writing is bad. But I digress. If the characters suck, like, I can't watch it. I thoroughly enjoyed the characters that I spent that hour and 22 minutes with. I did. If it wasn't for that, I probably would have been miserable and bored if it wasn't for the characters that we had. Because the premise was very predictable. But I'm glad I watched it. I will continue to watch it. I want to see more. Sorry, it's so hard to talk around this fucking show without giving anything.
Yeah, without giving any. Yeah, I'm surprised that you enjoyed it. Because to me, I was like, yo, I thought I immediately thought it was not. I'm not even gonna say immediately because it took me a minute. But once we kind of got into the conversational parts where there was more discovery and whatnot, it was real good. But we'll talk about it obviously more in the spoiler talk. I'm very happy to see that you actually did enjoy it for what it was or what it could be.
Yeah, definitely for what it could be, for sure. That it's very unique in that way.
And
is that it?
I think that might be.
We touched on it pretty good there.
That?
Oh, Heavenly Delusion.
Heavenly Delusion. It was cool.
Yeah, that's where I've been since the show started. Again, though, from the theme of this is that it's very unique. Very unique show.
Yeah, the part I liked the most about it was just the fact that it took off right where we left off.
Yes.
And then ended right where we left off, but it was after giving us the full explanation,
which was cool.
So that made the episode a lot more enjoyable because it just went boom, gave us the story, and then that's it.
As like average as I felt it was at the beginning, I'm much more intrigued now than I was prior.
I agree.
Because I need to know what the fuck are they doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, obviously we're still in the dark about how a lot of this even transpired. So, I mean, there's still more details they can give us. Yeah. But like, I almost prefer this not rushed method to it because if they rushed in and just gave us the details, I'd be like, okay, I don't need to watch anymore. I know everything I need to know. Yeah. So them kind of leaving us in the dark still and feeding us like drip feeding almost is cool as long as they don't get like you said with the other stuff. Not too heavy on the cliffhangers. Yeah. It's just stupid. I hate that. Oh, again, at least untastefully. I don't like when it's tasteless. Cliffhangers. Ranking of Kings was cool for a first episode. It wasn't worth. It's not worth talking too much about, but it was okay for that first episode. Is it a season 2? Ranking Kings, the Treasure Chest of Courage. I think so, but it's only 10 episodes. Yeah, but I mean, like, was it a continuation of Boji and his? Yeah. It's a continuation of Boji. So this is like after all that. Okay, cool. I'm definitely gonna pick that up for sure. Gotta know. All right, man. I guess we go back and taking this quick break. Before we do that, the recommendation roulette. Let's give somebody recommendations, and I'm gonna start by just saying this is the season. We're gonna do this season recommendations. Out of anything that we speaking about today, okay, I think my recommendation to y'all will be out of all the shows that we discussed. If you have to just pick one, okay, just pick one. I'm going to say, damn, it's tough. Let's go with you gotta be a fan of Isekai though. Even if you don't like Isekai that much, I still think watching I Got a Cheat Skill in Another World and became unrivaled in the real one too. I know the name is ridiculous, like as always with Isekais. I do think watching those first 2 episodes, it might pique your interest. So give that one a chance. Check it out. That's gonna be my recommendation for this recommendation roulette. That was Cheat Skill and what else? That was it. No, Cheat Skill. It's just a long ass name. Mine is going to be Insomniacs After School so far. Because I was shocked. I was shocked. Really good. In a semi state of disbelief at how good that first 24 minutes was. Very, very, very good. It felt like an hour, but it was only 24 minutes. It was really good. All right, we'll be right back after these.
everyone. Welcome back to episode 198 of Mic Check Waifu. Make sure you follow our social medias at Mic Check Waifu on Twitter, at Mic Check Waifu on Instagram and TikTok, and our YouTube page, youtube.com/at Mic Check Waifu. Give us a sub there. We need to start building that YouTube up. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So go ahead and sub over there for us. We kind of just treat it as like a secondary way to hold our videos, but we should probably do better than that. So make sure y'all check out our YouTube, sub there, get video versions of the podcast. They come out a week later for that. Like they come out the Saturday that the Saturday the Saturday the week before. So you can see the video versions if that's the way you prefer it. Okay. We almost forgot about Demon Slayer. Damn shame.
Couldn't do that.
The reason why this show is what it is. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna spoil Demon Slayer first, Oshinoki second, Hell's Paradise third, and then we're gonna do Death Mount Death Play last. Okay. So without further ado, let's do further, brother. Demon Slayer.
So to start off, I want to just say like Tanjiro is great by himself, bro.
Yes,
he really is. And I love that they started off with him by himself. And I know I love Zenitsu. And I know I can be alone. I don't care. Inosuke, I enjoy him too. But like when Tanjiro is out by himself, it really gives us that starting vibe back when we first started this show. It might be, and I'm not using this word in the way that the internet uses the word now, but that might be when it's at its peak is when he's solo, to be honest. Mm-hmm. You like every moment that you think about in Demon Slayer is when he's by himself. Yeah, like he had a cool moment in Mugen Train. That's it. Yeah, exactly. He had a cool moment in Mugen Train with the other three, but it always just feels like they are just accessories. While again, I like him fine. I don't hate Zenitsu. I just think he's a terrible character. But they don't pull their weight in terms of like main character isms, I guess yes. Like, yes, they're main characters and whatnot, but they are not like, they don't. It's like, imagine having Scooby-Doo in the gang and feeling like they're not all the same, like the main characters, right? Yes. So that's kind of what it feels like. It's like, this is Scooby-Doo in the gang, but Inosuke and Zenitsu are just like, kind of in a way, a little bit. Yeah. Sometimes in a way, but you know, they come in clutch when they're needed. Absolutely. But that's it. Yeah. That's it. That's a big fact. Yeah, that's 100% fact. I just love the way this episode started though. Again, picking up right where it left off. This whole time it was a puppet. This whole time we found out that he was in the Sengoku era, which is 300 years prior to where we are now, which our gut check last week was completely wrong, but you know, that's what gut checks are for. Exactly. Fun predictions. Really fucking cool though. I thought it was dope that this puppet or you know, doll or whatever, it has 6 arms because that was the only way they could replicate the fighting style of the person, that is modeled after. God, that's crazy. Yeah, he's got to be a demon himself, straight up. Which he might be. And he might be, like you said in your gut check last week. This doll is clearly replicated after someone with Tanjiro's, I'm gonna assume, lineage, because he has the doll has the same thing. It is the same person that he saw in his dream. It has to be, right? 100%. It has to be. It quite literally looks the same birthmark and everything. But to see that this doll was created to train Demon Slayers was dope. Yeah. Now I will also say this though. While I love Tanjiro by himself, there were some parts of this episode that I just felt like were, I'm not gonna say unnecessary, but it's just like some of it was just like, and it could have just been because the younger swordsmith dude, some of that, and then the Hashira guy. I almost feel like the Hashira and his attitude was kind of like my least favorite part.
Yeah, you could tell they mentioned this in the episode. Tanjiro sends no malice. He's just an awkward dude. He's just the kid that did a Naruto run in high school. Like that's just what he is. You know what I'm saying? Like I like that aspect of it, and the reason why I like that aspect of it was it gave time for Tanjiro to understand that he's still kind of weak. He did some powerful shit against the upper, but he's still not that dude.
Yeah, he's not him, because we know that this guy is a prodigy, right?
Quote unquote. Which I think he about to get put down in this place, because we know who the real prodigy is, being Tanjiro himself, obviously, from the dream he had with they dropped so many like just bombs and hints and stuff, that very obvious hints, I will say, very, very clearly obvious hints that, but Tanjiro is really the prodigy here with the sun breathing form, and the guy, like, he was doing the training with the doll and he didn't even cut off his head to reveal that secret weapon that our girl, the love Hashira, mentioned.
And that's what I wanted to mention too, is that does she know, is that the secret weapon she was talking of, or was it the doll itself as like the training mechanism, the secret weapon, right? Because
good question.
Because the doll itself, I assumed, being a rarity and only from that specific like swordsmith's lineage, that his family was the one that was building those dolls like that, or that doll. I thought that was the secret, right? Yeah. Because that in itself is a valuable training mechanism, because like I said, they're basing it off someone who was literally or imagining was probably hard for the demons to even put up with, right? Yes. The demons had a hard time defeating him. So to be able to model those motions and whatnot to this is I thought would have been considered a treasure in its own right. But to actually find a treasure within that is amazing. And I also think that the reason Tanjiro was able to do this is because of exactly what we said, or what we talked about before. Him having gone through these battles with the Hashira and the demons and whatnot, and seeing them in, action, he is able to develop at a faster rate now, because he's been in the heat of the trouble, Yeah. He has that wherewithal now to understand, like, this is the intensity of the moment.
Yeah. Yes. Sorry. I'm looking around because Sarah covered up the light that's back here. If you're watching the video version, it just got dark. I'm like, what the hell happened? Because he's landing. He just moved. Yeah, he's a big boy. Land directly on the light. But what caught my interest too was, dude, you hit the nail right on the head. I'm so curious as to see like who this Hashira is. Like, where did he come from? You know what I mean? Like, for the crow to yell out all these absurd things about how he's the prodigy just almost led me to believe that he's just not actually, he's just really fucking good. You know what I mean? And normally when people do that, like, this is the chosen one, it's always the other character that's actually the chosen one. And you kind of go through this whole little roller coaster of self-realization that you ain't the shit. And what do you think is going to happen when he finds out, that Hashira finds out that there was actually a sword treasure inside of that he didn't discover?
He's not going to care.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, because why would he care? He ain't shown a single ounce of care since we seen him in the first season.
Yeah, but it has to be like, but why would he find that and not me type shit? Because he's kind of calculated.
But that's jealousy, and I don't think he has that.
I think it's just calculation. And he learns about jealousy via his miscalculation. Like, okay, I trained with this thing and I cut off his arm, but I wasn't able to know that this thing has this in it. So that must mean.
But also, he ain't even cut off the arm. He just took it. because his sword broke. He just took the whole arm, broke it.
Well, he cut off the arm first, right?
It looked like he broke it because it was like jagged.
Oh, it did. It was jagged. You're right. It wasn't a smooth clean cut. But I guess when Tanjiro broke his head, it wasn't clean either. So
yeah, that's true.
Still,
no.
Dude, this is gonna become Tanjiro's sword. How fire is that gonna be, man?
I hope it's, and hear me out, because Tanjiro out here chipping and breaking swords left and right. I hope it's a sword that he decided not to break.
Well, it was because he was chosen to wield this one, man.
It's a possibility, but they keep saying
the shonen trope.
There's two things with these swords. One, you chip him or break him because you're inexperienced, or apparently the swordsmith is trash. And his swordsmith, as far as we know, ain't technically trash, right?
If I remember correctly, he was supposed to be great.
Yeah. So Tanjiro got to step his game up.
And that's why he like kind of pouting around right now, because he's like, yo, you broke two of my swords, making me look bad. Mm-hmm. You inexperienced.
What you think about Tanjiro going days without eating because the swordsmith is a demon on the coach side? You know
when you think about, because I was just thinking, I'm like, oh, he's not eating, so that means he's gonna be desperate enough to want to do the best he possibly can to learn, and it goes right into that little flash that he has, and he figures some shit out. That's what I love about Demon Slayer the most, is the self-taught like realizations and just power training, and it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Yeah. We talk about this all the time too. Like, I love the fact that this shit is grounded in reality. You know what I mean? It's fun, man. It's so much fun.
And what you just said is kind of the beauty of it, because since season 1, Tanjiro has been teaching himself a lot.
Yes.
And a lot of it has been himself. Like, yeah, he actually had like lessons and whatnot, but when he was trying to cut that boulder in the beginning, he was learning from Ghost and experience. Yep. He was just sitting there chopping away at a boulder. He was not getting any cracks
straight up.
So I do love that. Like you said, the fact that since season 1, Tanjiro has been having to learn a lot of stuff by himself, and he's progressing. The sun breathing, he don't have no one to coach him.
Right.
There's
no trainer for that. Yeah, it's fucking great, man. Oh, all right, let's move on to the next one, which is Oshinoki.
Yeah, so
love the doctor, bro.
Of course, man. Well, we know that let's not jump straight to that. Yes,
we can jump where we want.
I love the doctor, bro. So let me pull up the actual thing here. All right, I was trying to see if they still call him, if they called him Aquamarine or whatever here.
Yeah, they just called him Aqua when he was reincarnated. So
Aqua, before he was reincarnated, was a doctor, and how it kind of starts off is in my opinion, is they built the relationship of our two main characters in the beginning.
Yes,
which is fire.
Which is so fire. That's what I liked about it. That's what I'm saying. Like the whole characterization of it was what made this show so good. Even though everything else was extremely like just fucking, they were throwing death flags left and right. Like, it was just so obvious that she was gonna fucking croak. Then I'm like, damn, just get to it now. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Let's deal with the trauma now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the fact that our two main characters, and I feel like exactly what they said, because they said it in the beginning too. What if we die, or what if I die and I was able to become the child of an idol?
Yep.
You know, they hinted at it twice, because one was like another guy. You think if I died now, I could become the child of an idol? And it was like, okay. But then, you know, the girl on her deathbed, more or less, is saying, you know, she wants to become an idol. So I do think, because yes, they threw them death flags. It didn't change how sad everything was for me either. Because I was like, nah, bro, that's messed up the way that had to happen. But it happened exactly how I guess you imagine an idol and all their jealous fans go. And I hate that. That should be a whole topic in itself.
Right.
That's how I feel about women on Twitch. And it's not that I don't want women on Twitch streaming.
Very scary.
I don't want y'all to have all those weirdos following y'all.
Exactly.
Because that sense of ownership that an idol can't have a life outside of what they're doing is wild.
Parasocial behavior is scary, man. It's a very scary thing, and it's very real. It's not, and sadly, it's not even just real for the women of popularity. Dudes go through it too. It sucks. It's an awful, awful situation. What I find like unbelievably, the one thing I did find dope was also how quick it happened to the doctor. Like it was, it felt real. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that shit was like actually like, ooh, that's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like I felt bad because I felt like he was such a good character in itself. I was ready to stick with him for 11 episodes. You know what I'm saying?
I'm telling you, and you're right. The characterization they gave him was great. Not to mention, you know, he had to deal with the death of that character. So he of the girl character.
Yes.
And he immediately went into like, I love this character because I feel some kind of obligation to that person I lost. And you think about it, doctors lose people and patients all the time.
Correct.
But the thought of him, you know, telling this 12-year-old girl that like, you know, yeah, like I want to see you, I have hope and save me. I want to see you get to this point in your life and, you know, whatever. And she didn't make it. So he took up that almost like that mantle just to give her realistically it has to be for yourself, but to give it like a sense of like care, like he never cared or never forgot about never
the part of you lives in me.
Right. So he's holding on to that for her, and then he dies. I'm like, in my mind, I'm thinking like, damn, bro,
that's where I got fucked up. That's the only thing I didn't expect, even though I like the way he died. I mean, even though I knew he was going to, because of the way that, again, those death flags were just flag waved into our faces from moment one. I did not expect the way he died to end up like that. And the fact that they never found his body and him searching that like later on,
I think that's going to be important.
Yeah, I think that's rough. I also, it's crazy because they didn't die at the same time, but yet they were a part of the same twin set.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very curious as to know what it is. And it's about to be. I just fucking had a Jimmy Neutron brain blast. It's it's the influence she had. I think these two people were the most influential to which brought the connection of them being reincarnated as a part of her kin. Mm-hmm. I think because it was the doctor and the patient. Okay, the patient had this unbelievable gusto, and they showed that throughout the entire episode when she was trying to get up and dance and she was sick, which is awfully sad. Like, very, very well done, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Kept it all the way into her childhood.
Mm-hmm. The way that was told. And the way that it was brought together, I think was the influence as to what she's like the revolving door in this story. It's kind of hard to put into words, but I just think
she's like the anchor,
catalyst.
She's tying everybody together. Yeah.
Yes, the catalyst is the word I was looking for. And I think that's dope. And now, again, what has me the most intrigued about this entire show is when is the doctor going to figure out that that's, what's her name? When the doctor that's going to figure out that Ruby Chan is the girl in the hospital, because that's going to change that whole fucking dynamic up big time, because she's been keeping that completely secret, even though they both kind of hinted at, you know, you remind me of him or you remind me of her. And that's going to be huge when that realization comes that you're her and you're him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the fact that they both know that they've been reincarnated is also, and hear me out, I almost feel like that's what makes it harder for them to tell the other, right? because you think about it, like I've been reincarnated, you've been reincarnated. They don't want to know if they know each other, because imagine being like, I know exactly who you are, and it's like that's kind of weird, but also it could be cool. But I think
it's going to be really cool.
I think that the idea that you would explain to someone the entirety of the life you lived beforehand, and then also even think about like someone could have had a traumatic life in general, you know,
which Ruby did.
She did, and I mean, even the way the doctor died, that was not an easy death. Even though you know he didn't even necessarily know the way he died specifically, but like his life leading up to that point, even though he was a doctor, was still had moments of loss and whatnot. So it's probably a whole hard story to explain, even though one is technically an adult and the other one is still mentally a child. It's a lot of hardship in that. But what did you think about the actual like moments of them being her child? Like, how did you feel like their characters played out as the children themselves, though?
As they were maturing, even though they were already mature, I did enjoy seeing that process. It was cute. It was adorable. And again, I kept growing more and more attached to the doctor, to Aquamarine himself. I don't know. I love characters. Again, I talk about this all the time that are candidly mature and self-aware.
Aware, yeah.
Yes, I hate the bumbling fools, man. I hate them. And he's an adult man, so he should be an adult man, being reincarnated. And the girl is a girl. She was a 12-year-old girl, so she should be a 12-year-old girl, which she does act her age. Like, even though she's like, you know, asking for the head pats and attentions from mom, of course, she's a 12-year-old girl who's a fan of I, who is now the daughter of I. So, of course, she was perfectly acted as well. But again, I found myself growing more attached to the doctor because of the way he's moving. I just found it super incredibly entertaining and dope.
And the doctor and his like awareness and intellect in itself is what for me made that movie scene so good. I was like, he's in there, and it was just like that because you know we love the internet monologue, especially when it's good. But when he's talking about you know, obviously this little girl's a really good actor, right? And he's in his head like, okay, well, so how should I act out this moment? What was I brought here for? And he says, well, I'm actually not brought here to be an actor. I'm not a good actor, so I'm going to do exactly what I should be doing, and that's just being myself. Because what the director is telling me is that I'm creepy. I'm a creepy kid. I'm creepy as fuck, bro. But that whole moment to me, even though like it didn't necessarily send chills down my spine, I was like the impact of how he did it felt important to. And Absolutely. It wasn't even necessarily the fact that the way he said it or delivered it was important. It was the fact of everything up to him delivering it that way.
Absolutely.
Was important. Because it just shows where his mind is going to be at the entirety of this show.
Yeah. And it just I'm glad we're mostly following him. Yeah. I hope it sticks to that notion. Well, I don't mind like the kind of bouncing back and forth. I just know that these episodes are going to go back down to 20 something episodes, 20-minute episodes, and it's going to be kind of tough to fit a lot in. It's only 11 episodes, so I'm praying that it's enough to get some closure within these 11. My favorite, I wouldn't say my favorite. I did love his now goes of finding in their father, because he obviously had to have something to do with this shit. Because the minute she's on the phone talking about him, again, another death flag. It was all this was so annoying because it was so obvious. Yeah. And when she was talking on the phone to him and like, oh, address, okay, and all of a sudden the guy shows up. Like, it's so frustrating, but but to know that he has something to do with her death pisses me off so much. And maybe he doesn't, but
yeah, I mean, it could have been like a fan who watched her entire life, and he could be a super fan who got one of them hacking things or whatever. Who knows?
True.
I hate to say like that's even a thing, but we know it's a thing.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know, bro. I hope the dad don't have nothing to do with it, but he's been gone. And it was also extremely weird. And it's because she's young, because by the time of her death, she was 20. So it's not like she was the oldest and most mature mentally, right?
Right.
So realistically, there was a lot of red flags in it herself that she should have caught on to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of red flags, and I'm not even too far putting it past. And I know the manager probably didn't do it, but I don't know, bro. I don't trust not a soul.
No, because that was his meal ticket. That'd be just
you're
stupid,
right.
You know, it's not like real life when the manager get paid when they lose somebody like that.
I'm telling you, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I like it though. I like it so far. Again, the tags are very misleading. I don't think it's going to be as much of an idol show as 91%. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like that's a little egregiously weighted. So I'm looking forward to more of it though. I need to see where this goes.
For sure. Agreed.
Next up.
Now, I know you've been waiting for this one. This is Hell's Paradise.
Bro, my gosh, man. It's just so unbelievably... character dynamics in 3 episodes are stronger than anything. I keep saying this. It's stronger than any other shonen I've seen within the last... Outside of Jujutsu Kaisen, which even you could argue that some of the character dynamics in these first 3 are stronger than what we've seen in Jujutsu Kaisen. I don't know of any shonen that goes this hard with character depth so early. And so well done. So well paced. You know?
I love Gabimaru.
Yeah.
And what makes his characterization so good, like you said, is the fact that his name is Gabimaru the Hollow. In the entirety of this time, we're seeing a man who thinks he's hollow and is yet in turn being told over and over again, you're not hollow.
Right.
He was told by his wife he wasn't hollow. He was told by what's her name? Not Sagiri. He was told by Sagiri he's not hollow. You know, this is a man who is not as emotionally deprived and destroyed as he initially thought.
Right. Which you can understand that he feels he needs to be in order to do the job that he's tasked with, man. He's a fucking shinobi. His job is to kill as many people as he can when he's told, as ruthless as he possibly can with no emotions attached. Then he gains emotions by meeting this woman that becomes the love of his life. And he thinks, okay, let me go back. Let me get the fuck out of here because I'm losing. I'm becoming weak. This is my kryptonite. I need to get out of here. And I need to find a way to become that hollow shinobi that I've grown up to be this entire time. And he tries to go and find that. You know what? I ain't got really much else to live for. So let's just go end it. And subconsciously, he doesn't want to end it. And that shit goes so deep, so much deeper than just a character that don't want to just leave this earth. It's because he's conflicted. He's conflicted with the life he has to take and who he is and what he is. And it's just great, man. It's just great.
Do you think they're gonna do like almost like a redemption thing where essentially our Gabimaru is going to seek redemption? And I say that in thoughts of like Vinland Saga, because I hate Vinland Saga's redemption for Thorfinn.
Yeah, me too. It's not good right now. Not good right now at all.
And I just feel like this show, I don't see them doing that same type of redemption, but maybe his redemption could be him pointing his blade in the right direction for a change. Regardless, I'm not here to look into the future of this story too much because I almost feel like it's too good to think about. Like I don't want to know what is actually happening next. I just want to see him do it.
Yeah. To be honest, this is one of the shows, again, as predictable as the shonen is, I can't really predict. Like, did you fucking predict that the person who was trying to get Shigiri to put down her sword because this isn't a place for a woman will be one of the first ones fucking dead on the island? Like, no, I wasn't expecting that. I thought he was a badass. You know what I'm saying?
I thought some of them would be, but they was losing their heads all over the place.
Crazy, bro. His whole he lost to a brute. The whole top half of his body was gone.
Couldn't cut that hand, huh?
It's super, like, again, I'm curious to see what this power system is, how it works.
Well, that's also the thing too, is that like the power system outside of Gabimaru almost seems relatively realistic, except for being a giant person. You know what I mean? Because that's not realistic. But like Gabimaru, he just is the one who can control the density of his muscles. So like, but that's something that they've been taught and they've been told, they've been given like this immortal elixir and stuff. And he clearly knows a lot more than he's even been giving us as the viewer and whatnot.
Yeah, we've been getting pieces.
There's a lot that he can unfold alone.
True. I'm just, I'm curious to see what this turns into, man. It's like very, very unique situation too. Like this whole island, and you got these bugs. And the first thing that they're dealing with is the first thing we saw from that island is Ness being stunned and turned into a blossoming plant. Like that's so dope, man. It's so dope. That was the first thing we saw. That's not even like, that doesn't even scratch the surface. We got 10 episodes of this left, so.
Yeah, and we saw one dude cut his hand off immediately upon getting stung by the moth with a human face. What is this paradise?
Exactly. It's Hell's, bro. It's Hell's.
They was getting mad. People was mad at them talking about y'all were getting ready to go to paradise. This is not paradise, first and foremost. This is hell for sure.
Bro, for me, seriously though, Hell's Paradise is the biggest shocker for me because I promise you, I went in this being like, okay, I'm about to go ahead and watch this fucking another shonen and I'm not going to be interested in T-1 episode. So let's go ahead and watch it. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. It's way better than it hasn't. Like the cover art that Hell's Paradise uses fucking stinks. It's awful. It just looks so generic and bad. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't scream the uniqueness that it brings as far as like storytelling and characterization, man. It just doesn't bring that at all.
Yeah, I swear, because I don't want to see none of them characters but Gabimaru.
I mean, and even if we did, and even what we've seen of them, the little bit we've seen of them, they don't seem that bad. Like they seem like kind of, you're intrigued to see what the fuck they're about.
Yeah, but I feel like they showed like 8 of these characters dead already.
No, they showed every one of them characters actually surviving.
Shorty with the purple hair is definitely had a knife in the chest.
Yep, that was a fake. She was faking her death.
Okay,
definitely faking her death. But yeah, I mean, the dude cut his hand off. It's looking at the cover art. They're definitely gonna be something for sure. Very, very curious, man. I'm very, very, very curious to see what this is gonna be. It's about to turn into like a what's that show called? Samurai King. And they about to start treating the convicts like Pokemon and throwing them out to battle.
Oh yeah,
each other.
I choose you, Gabimaru.
You got a Pokemon ass name too.
I'm telling you, tie his arms up and have him rip somebody's heart out. Why is he just really a demon too? That's the craziest part.
Yeah,
he really is built entirely different.
The whole time. He fought that big dude. He's like, he's like, look, his hands aren't tied. She's an idiot though. Why would she still have his man's hands tied in the situation that they're in? Anyway,
the naivety.
Yes.
That like she was told. She
Yes,
is
it's true.
naive.
Very naive, and that goody two shoes shit ain't what the world is.
It's gonna get her and everybody else around her killed.
Straight up. All right, moving on to the final show. Dead Mountain Death Play.
Dead Mountain Death Play. So you told me to watch this one.
Yes.
Yeah, it definitely lived up to everything you said. 125%.
I was like, what the fuck? I was shocked.
It was a pretty insane ending, but like overall, it was still extremely interesting, right?
Yes,
because we start off in this like other parallel world.
I keep trying to tell people isekai just means you travel from a different world. It doesn't necessarily have to be from Earth to a different world. So it's no such thing as a reverse isekai. So let me just get that out there. But yeah.
So we start off in this like parallel world, and they're in armor and they're doing magic, and we
Heroes
have
popping off, beautiful animation.
We have what appears to be the hero fighting this giant skeletal demon lord. It's going ham. It's going crazy, bro. I'm just like, okay, this is a beautiful, like the artwork, the animation. I'm like, yo, they really going in on this. Like, but it's giving me mad meathead vibes. I'm like, I like this. this overpowered protagonist. I fuck with this. This is great, Polo. And then the skeleton, they go, or the hero goes in with this giant explosive magic spell that initially I thought it was from the hero, and they clash with the demon lord, and I'm just like, oh, maybe the demon lord took the L here,
right?
And we get to the other world, and I'm like, no,
we thought the hero. We thought the hero.
Well, I initially thought like maybe the hero killed the demon lord, and they both died. And the hero was reincarnated in our world as a regular human. But what made it even crazier was that our character wakes up and he's essentially a body with his throat slit, right?
Yep.
And I'm like, that's definitely a reincarnation, because they normally say two characters die at the same time and they just switch bodies or whatever. That reincarnation for this character, I was like, okay,
fire.
We hear he got the slit throat, and he's trying to figure out what's going on. Initially, he can't talk, which I imagine that's him suffering from the effects of the human world and him not having access to his magic currently, or
his vocal cords were slit.
Well,
not slit, punctured.
But he said he couldn't heal it. He remember because he didn't have access to his magic and stuff. And when he was walking around the town, police stop him, and they're like, "Yo, is that real blood? Or is that just part of your shirt?" I'm just like, how stupid did the police get, bro?
I mean, it's modern day Japan. They ain't gonna think anything like that.
Yeah, I guess that's weird. Dude, you just walk around with your throat slit. Yep. You doing visual effects makeup. But what really drew me in was like when it does get to like that part where he sees the girl that slit this body's throat, right?
Yes.
Because not only did we just end from some high octane action, but now we're getting to a point to where it's like now we need to start trying to figure some stuff out.
Yep.
And I feel like about these kind of anime, that's always the best part, is figuring stuff out.
Yep.
Maybe that's a mic check waifu thing. Maybe that's what we like about some
anime.
That's our favorite thing. We get to figure some stuff out.
That's a good point.
Yeah. But when we get to this point, and she's like, I'm the one that slit their throat. I'm the one who crushed their vocal cords and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. He is powerless in his mind. In this world, he don't have everything he's used to having. He doesn't have the arsenal he's accustomed to.
What's dope is they show a little glimpse of the fact that he could. Yeah.
But he just didn't know he could access it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So he turned around and book it. And he's running. It was beautiful. She's got a crowbar that apparently is the kind of sharpness of a samurai blade. Or she's just that strong because she did pick up bro by his ankles.
Right. Yeah. She was on some supernatural shit. Like I don't know. Listen, what was so great about it is the fact that I was confused just as much as the character was. Okay, the character, again, like you said, we go in knowing nothing, and we get the things get unveiled as we start to watch things play out. When it gets to the fact that he's talking about his eyes, I'm like, okay, yeah, the hero had those eyes, so of course he has these eyes that had to come back with him. Mm-hmm. And then it refers to the fact, it shows the flashback of the fact that this wasn't the hero the whole fucking time. It was actually the fucking Death Reaper god, the god of death is what they called him.
The corpse god.
Yeah, the corpse god. Yeah, that's what it was. The corpse god. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? So we got, because he was talking about like this, I want to keep this world peaceful. And he was like just kind of wandering the city, or I love to see these kids peaceful. Like, I don't know what the fuck his motivations was in the other world. I can't remember exactly per se, but
I think what he wants is his personal peace. Yeah. He don't want trouble. Yeah. He wanted to be peaceful. And I think maybe in that world, because he was so powerful,
they had to try to get rid of him.
Right.
It's beautiful though. It was a beautiful twist, because I was not expecting him to be the one that comes through. And he said that he killed her. Obviously, he's a necromancer, so she's got to get brought back, and she's on the cover and shit. So she's got to get brought back. But I'm intrigued to see where this goes. Now, it could be this could be a one-hit banger. This could be a one-episode banger, and then everything else just kind of falls to shit. So, not saying that it's going to be great 100% through, because it could fail us. But so far, it's really good.
You think they could have went in on that first episode like that and then just dropped the ball?
Yeah, I do think they could. And they still might, to be honest. Because like what's going to be the moral of the story? He's probably going to join that agency. And what are they going to be doing? You know what I'm saying? Is he going to help them kill people? Or the
heroes are going to try and get there from the other side of the world.
Yes, it could be.
That hero is not sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was he did ask some questions. I don't know, man.
You're right. I don't know either. I'm actually worried now that you say it that way.
It could be, man. It could be. Listen, but all in all, moral of this story, the season is off to a great start so far. And I've been at Polo Born Fly on all social media.
I'm at King Taliano on all social media.
You can follow our social medias at Mike Check Waifu on Twitter and at Mike Check Waifu on Instagram and TikTok. And as always, Mike check.
You're now tuned into Mike Check Waifu Waifu. Is that you? Is that you? Is that you? Is that you?